You know, you think about it, the whole census is about counting every now and then how many Americans live in this country. But apparently it's grown to a great offense if you're ever that general or vague. For example, the Trump administration adding the line about your citizenship. Are you a U.S. citizen? Well, that was enough to get California to sue, saying it's a big leap, even though it used to be a common and pretty frequently asked question. Kevin Corke at the White House on how they're responding to this. Kevin.
Hey there, Neil, you're right about that. Listen, this is the 2020 census we're talking about. And as you mentioned, this is fairly common stuff with the exception of the 2010 census, asking about your citizenship status. Well, as you point out as well, California's AG is opposed to asking that question. Javier Becerra is calling it a deliberate effort to scare Californians.
Given the way that this administration has attacked immigrants, you can understand why immigrant families would be afraid to fill out the census questionnaire. The Trump administration has yet again failed to learn from history. They failed to consider the consequences of scaring people into not filling out the census forms.
But as you can well imagine, White House officials say, listen, this is the Commerce Department's call after all. They may have consulted with them, that they do have the final call. They also add fairly quickly that this is not unprecedented in any way.
Look, this is a question that's been included in every census since 1965, with the exception of 2010 when it was removed. We've contained this question that's provided data that's necessary for the Department of Justice to protect voters and specifically to help us better comply.
Well, I just want to remind you, this is not the first time, Neil. We have actually seen the AG in the state of California sue the Trump administration. Mr. Becerra also suing over the proposed border wall enhancement down in San Diego and along the U.S.-Mexico border. By the way, for the folks that don't understand the real importance here, it's not just about counting people. We're talking about political representation and federal funding. So you can well imagine, Neil, why the state of California wants to make sure that they're getting everyone counted, even if some of them may not be here legally. Neil?
Yeah. All right. Thank you very, very much, Kevin Corke. Bottom line here, this always morphs into a discussion. I'm a stickler for using the right words for things when I can and when they apply. But to say that this morphed into being scaring immigrants, well, if it would scare anyone, I guess it would be illegal immigrants. There is a big difference. We're a nation of immigrants. So are we scaring everybody? Everyone who answers this survey? It's a question my next guest is asking as well, Fox News contributor. Kevin Jackson. Kevin, I mean, the idea that if you are here illegally, that this somehow is targeting you, when in fact this all started with counting the number of illegal Americans here and then criticizing and suing over the fear that this will affect all immigrants. That's a stretch. But your thoughts?
Yeah, of course it is. You know, Californians are living on another planet. Look, this is a very simple thing, Neil, and everybody watching your program, the millions watching Fox News know this. This is California's attempt to minimize the vote of legal citizens. And it has nothing to do with immigrants. And in fact, I love that the Trump administration invoked the 1965 Voting Rights Act, rather, in bringing this back, because effectively Barack Obama ignored that and violated that Civil Rights Act. This is something that is supposed to protect citizens in keeping the vote from being watered down. The other thing is California has been losing citizens quite readily because of the craziness of Jerry Brown and the tactics of these legislators out there who are doing things like allowing people with AIDS to infect people. They're passing laws and legislation that do not protect their citizens. So this is Becerra stretching something, trying to make it racist, when in fact, when they undid it in 2010, that really should have been considered racist and certainly for not protecting U.S. citizens.
But, you know, I do notice a greater concern with not offending those who are here illegally. Fine. If that's your won't, fine. I know it's become a sanctuary state. I know the mayor of Oakland won't even allow ICE to come in without giving local residents, those who are here illegally, a heads up. But now to start saying a census that was meant to keep count of the number of legal American citizens in any given community and state to determine and portion out the number of benefits they should receive and what they should be getting for the United States government down the road has become a much greater fixation on those who aren't here legally, who shouldn't be here legally, and who they take great offense to protecting by morphing them into all immigrants.
Look, Neil, this is one of these topics where I guarantee you people are watching this program right now saying to themselves, where has common sense gone in this country? When we know for a fact that the census is there to do one thing, it is to apportion votes, period, to apportion legislators. So what is California trying to do when they say we want to count the illegals? And I don't care about the sanctuary states and all that. We want to count illegals as part of our population, and we don't want you to question whether somebody's here legally or illegally. That's only got one outcome, and that's because California is losing companies, it's losing citizens, people who are tired of being taxed into oblivion, people who can be put in jail because they use the wrong pronoun or they don't believe in global climate farce. There are people leaving in droves, and instead of addressing the real issue, they want to cover it up by saying, let's count everybody that's here. That's ridiculous, and people in America are sick of this, and quite frankly, these counties, Los Alamitos and people like this that are saying, we're not going to participate in this nonsense of Jerry Brown, are starting to speak out.
Yeah, it's just getting crazy. It's deemed bigoted or racist if you are just trying to get to the bottom of something or to allow this to morph in. Just when we had the illegal immigrant debate, and then they just dropped off illegal and said, well, anti-immigrant. And then once again, in the wording of this lawsuit, that's exactly how it came across. But it is a weird world. All right, thank you very, very much, my friend. We have a lot more coming up here, but you know by now that Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame is ready to testify before Congress. Here's the thing about the guy. He's a genius. He is a genius. No one can deny that. You don't create a multi-billion-dollar behemoth if you're an idiot. But not great taking questions, not great sometimes on camera. We can't be gifted teleprompter readers, my friends. I'm telling you, though, that could be a big issue for him and for an entire industry. I'm telling you, he's got more pressure on him than me at a fruit stand. I'll explain.